You are listening to a Pod Bros exclusive.
All right, boys and girls, we're live, brand new episode, Take Aim Outdoor Podcast, and is as excited as ever to do another show. And I'm back with Baker Levitt from Killcliff and Logan. Logan, what is it? Stark,
like Iron Man, or
like Iron Man.
The family in Game of Thrones, whatever you prefer.
Lead into. Dang it. All right. So how you guys doing?
Very good.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome, man. Excited to talk with both you and Baker. I know you guys are getting ready to plan a trip, already planned, but getting ready to head to Africa. So explain what's going on with you and Logan and this upcoming hunt in Africa.
So I was I'm actually down here in California with my girlfriend for the CrossFit Games, and we were sitting on the couch. I think it was, Logan, when did I call you? Was it like 10 days ago? It was last Friday, I think is what it was.
Yeah, well, we were sitting in your place in Seattle, and we were going through all the Lost Arrow Africa films, and we were just like, hey, we should really do this. And I think it was about a week after that you called me.
Yeah, so we were sitting in Logan's at my house, and we'd just been down to some TED Talks in Tacoma, and we were just hanging out. And we were talking about Africa, and I was telling him, how cool it is to go over there and all that stuff. He's like, I'd love to do that. Well, so the next Friday, Kelsey and I were sitting on the couch. I had just booked and reserved a hotel in Port Townsend in the San Juan Islands for my birthday. And I literally kind of got up off the couch stance to take a call from Mark Martineau from Rack 'em Up. And Mark's like, hey, man, what are you doing? I was like, no, nothing, man, just sitting here. Long time to talk. How you doing? And he's like, do you want to go to Africa? And I was like, always. And I said, when? He said, August the 1st. And I was like, whoa, yes, sir, I'm in. So I think I waited till I mentioned it to Kelsey kind of, and then she was I think they were at a training camp in Chelan or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but I remember riding to the gym one Monday, and I was like, hey, babe, I got invited to go to Africa. She's like, that's only planning your thing. But she was super cool about it. She's like, yeah, no problem. You can't pass that up. She's like, I'll cancel the hotel, and we'll do something else. So, and then I called Logan, and I was like, hey, man, I know this is kind of last minute, but do you want to go to Africa? And his response was, F yeah, absolutely. So literally went from, not going to Africa to, going to Africa on August the 1st. I mean, it's interesting, it's like, it's an intimidating, thought for a lot of people that have never done that or don't think that way, like the ability just to pick up and go to Africa just because fear of the unknown. But I mean, it's really simple. It's buy your plane ticket. Well, find your hunting operation you're going to go with, and buy your plane ticket. It's that simple. We're going with Sediba Nkwe, which is SEDIBA NKWE hunting safaris. So we'll be flying into Johannesburg, and then we have about a 5-hour car ride north, and that's where we'll be hunting. So it's it went from 0 to 60 really quickly.
So basically, Baker, we owe all that to your girlfriend for letting us go down.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. No, she's super cool about stuff like that. She grew up, her mother was like a high-level corporate exec and traveled a lot. And, both of her parents had interests that, her mom would work and her dad, his stuff, his work too. So she grew up in a household where, there's give and take, like both parents supported each other's, interests and work and stuff like that. So for her, she's very, very giving, and, I give a lot of my time for her and her pursuit in CrossFit, and she cuts me a massive amount of slack for my hunting, hobby. So I'm a very lucky dude, to say the least.
Which, if Baker,
also,
is pretty much a requirement of dating him.
Yeah, and I think that she's, she kind of likes it when I go out of town. Like I'm a handful. So for her, it's like, oh yeah, don't you have a hunting trip coming up soon? So it's a win for her. But yeah, I'm pumped, man. I can't wait.
I bet. So Logan is going to be your compadre. So Logan, give me a little background about yourself, if you would, because from what I just heard, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't have a huge hunting background. I grew up in Michigan, so I did a little bit of whitetail bow hunting growing up, but it was never my main thing. And then I joined the Marine Corps shortly after high school and did just over 4 years there as a scout sniper, did deployment to Afghanistan, and then kind of started delving into a career in film and blogging / writing, and got a degree from Michigan State University. And then I started writing for Funker 530, which is a military blog. And then shortly after that, I got hooked up with a company called Ready Man, which is, in a nutshell, Boy Scouts for Men, or the art of getting better, as we like to call it. So I started shooting video for them and have really been exposed to a whole lot of adventure / outdoorsmanship. And it was just kind of the natural progression in which I started getting into the hunting world quite a bit more, and kind of using it as a funnel to really fulfill that adventure necessity that I have in life. And so when Baker calls me, he's like, hey, you want to go to Africa? I'm that type of person that, like, everything drops, like, whatever I need to do to make this happen, because it's the thing I really enjoy about life is being spontaneous and being able to go do amazing things on other continents.
So I got a little takeaway there. I'm from Michigan too, so where are you at, or where were you from, Logan?
I went to high school in Greenville, which is about an hour north of Grand Rapids. What about yourself?
I'm from originally south of Detroit, about 20 miles. And Right now I own a fitness center or gym in south central Michigan, but my wife and son still live back home, so I'm in both spots quite a bit. Pretty chaotic life. Yeah.
And my brother's in Detroit now.
Is he? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of the interesting parts about his job with Ready Man and Black Rifle Coffee that I didn't talk about. So Ready Man, is one of my favorite companies out there. Just the different stuff that they teach. So, like, if you look at, like, who makes up Ready Man, so Jeff and Rory and Logan run Ready Man, and, Rory's a pilot, Black Hawk pilot. Jeff spent 28 years in Special Forces in the CIA, and then Logan was a scout sniper. And the skills and stuff that those guys teach on Ready Man is pretty impressive. So, the thing with Logan was like, okay, here's the trip. How can we maximize the value from this trip? While it will be vacation, it's also an opportunity for us, all the companies that we work for and work with, to grab an insane amount of content for them. So, like, on this trip, like, we're going to produce content for Ready Man, which will be like how to hunt in Africa, how to plan a safari, how to travel to Africa, how to travel with guns, how to clean the different animals we'll be hunting over there, zebra, impala, blue wildebeest, warthog, stuff like that. And it's just going to be like, we'll be shooting Kimber rifles. They're helping us out. We'll be running Leupold optics. Just a ton of companies that are helping out. Like, talked to Ryan Callahan at First Light yesterday again, and we're going to be doing a bunch of gear reviews. We'll be wearing First Light hunting apparel and all that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to maximize the trip and get as much out of it. So, we'll be gone for 10 days, but at the same time, we'll be coming back with an insane amount of content to share. And for anyone listening, check out Ready Man. It's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, like I said, the skills that those guys share from their careers, really impressive. Like picking locks and, doing all kinds of cool stuff, starting fire out in the wilderness, how to, find true north and all that crazy stuff. It's awesome.
So, Logan, is it spelled just like it sounds? Is it just Ready Man? Like
Yep.
ReadyMan.com? Okay. So
Facebook, there's no space between ready and man. It's just one word on Facebook.
Right.
Ready man.
Ready man. So Logan, give me a little taste or insight about your previous military experience, and now your transition into becoming more and more into the outdoors and outdoorsman. Is there a connection between the two? Is there something that you relate to that just communicates to your previous history in the military?
Yeah, absolutely. I think coming out of the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps is the branch that is really known for doing the most with the small amount of stuff that we have. We're the least funded branch of the military, and just strictly a fighting force. So the way that we operate is to become a master with the most basic set of skills, and then if we do have the opportunity to expand on that, then we will be able to function no matter what. So we always have a fallback, and that's kind of the way that I've approached life, and the way that Ready Man operates is, the amount of technology out there is great. The way that firearms and ammo is advancing and really letting you shoot to a really high level, it's fantastic, but really always coming back to this base level of skills that translates into you being confident no matter the situation. And that's really the ethos I like to take forward in life is we always want to have that confidence no matter the situation. So one of the things that our audience, although outdoorsman is kind of what we like to view as from the prepper demographic, and I think preppers get a bad name sometimes, but ultimately what we're looking at, and people always like to talk out bug out situations and stuff like that, but the situation always comes down to is you never know what type of problems or conflict you're going to have arise in your life. So if you take that mindset forward in your training or your everyday life, it's I'm going to be efficient with the base amount of essentials and move forward that way. And that kind of translates back to the Marine Corps. It's I'm, although not serving in the military anymore, you're really just carrying forth that fundamental mindset of I can make this work no matter what I have.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. A great answer, and neat to hear, just your explanation of what you guys do at Ready Man. It is neat to hear that you guys are, like Baker said, learning or passing on all these skills. It's neat to be able to just be a person that is a do-all. I think that's pretty admirable, and there's tons of content out there where people are doing that, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and to me, the greatest the benefit of all of this is just allowing for the opportunity to interact with nature. And I think a lot of people today get stuck in jobs and careers in which they find themselves indoors the majority of the time, and they don't get to see that as much. But I saw this quote from John Muir recently, and it says, "Wildness is a necessity. I am losing precious days. I am degenerating into a machine for making money. I am learning nothing in this trivial world of men. I must break away and get out into the mountains to learn the news." And that really struck a chord with me, because it's that is my philosophy on life. It's I don't learn a whole lot sitting in front of a computer, even though we have access to insane amounts of information now. It's when I'm sitting in a raft going down a river, or sitting out in the mountains hoping for a bear to show, I was that's when I really feel connected and feel like I'm functioning as a human being. And this Africa trip is I'm fully expecting that to happen again. It's the process of going out there and trying to capture this content and hopefully pass on some knowledge to other people. I think that's really when we really conquer that divide between modern technology and sticking true to the old ways of life really well.
Yeah, I think that's really neat, and I think there's always something to take away from a hunting trip, no matter if it's to, somewhere in Ontario or to Africa, that it's neat to kind of, taste the culture, be a part of it, and learn something, and like you said, even pass along something. I think those are just, part of life, and I think it kind of refreshes our soul when you get to do that. And that's what it does for me when I hunt, so that's a super cool answer. What are you guys planning on when you first get there? Do you have a day to kind of take in the sights, the sounds, or what's the plan between you guys?
So we get there, we'll get to our camp, I don't know, about midnight when we land. Between 10 and midnight. And then, so we have a package of 5 animals each, and we're going to be there 7 days. And the thing with Africa, it's a totally different hunting experience. Whereas, when we're out chasing whitetail, we'll hunt an entire season with the hopes for that one opportunity on that one buck. You know what I mean? Africa's different. Like when you pull onto the property, you start seeing animals in insane numbers. Okay. So for us, and especially for me, because the joy of this trip is not me going back to Africa. It is taking my friend who's never been hunting to Africa for him to experience it. So for me, the whole purpose of this trip is to make sure that Logan has the best possible experience hunting on this trip. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to be bloodthirsty animals and rush out there and try and, smack a bunch of animals immediately. We're going to take our time, and the first morning, get acclimated, talk to the guides, the PHs, the professional hunters. I want to meet all the other guests that are going to be there, talk to them, find out about them, and then build our trip around that. So first, in Africa, you basically break up your hunting into two hunts per day. So one before lunch, one after lunch. So what we'll do is we will go out that first morning, and based on our conversations that morning, we'll take one animal the first morning, one animal the second in the afternoon, and then we'll both be running a camera backing the other guy up, so we capture the entire trip. So we don't want to we're both not going to go after animals the first morning, so we'll break it up that way so we spread it out and maximize the time. So we'll each take a zebra, we'll each take a blue wildebeest. We'll do those with our Kimber rifles. We got a Hunter and 308 for Logan, and I'm running a Montana 30-06. So we'll be shooting 185 to 210 grain rounds. So sight in our rifles first morning, and then we'll take a warthog, an impala, and a baboon and or jackal with a bow. So we'll spread the hunt out, we'll spread the harvest out, and then just capture as much content. And one thing we want to bring back is kind of for Ready Man and all the other companies that we're working with on this, like Black Rifle Coffee and stuff, is just quality content. Tell the story. How does it work? From start to finish, from the invite to the time we get back and taxidermy and all that. So we're going to chronicle the entire trip and every component. And then Ready Man will put all that out on their platforms for people. So basically show how easy it is to go to Africa and how to maximize your African trip. Because if you wanted to, you could literally get your 5 species in 3 days. I mean, if you were a nut job, you could probably do it in 2 days, but we want to maximize the trip and maximize the time on the ground.
How many days to hunt do you have, Baker?
So we land on the 2nd. So we start hunting on the 3rd, and we'll hunt the 3rd through the 9th.
Very cool. So I know you've done this before, Baker, but Logan, is there anything about this process that you really kind of, enjoyed about, the logistics and the paperwork, or anything that you just was, like a wow factor to you?
I mean, the whole trip, really. I mean, when, I've never done a guided hunt to this caliber ever before. So just the variety of species that we're going to be hunting and just the whole journey. Like, I'm all about the adventure. So I think there's so much to be taken away besides the hunt. Like, I think the prospect of going to Africa for a lot of people seems, I don't know if scary is the right word, but it's kind of, it brings up question marks in people's minds. And I think my perception of it, from what Baker has kind of communicated to me, is it's going to be a whole lot easier and a whole lot cheaper than what I think a lot of people. And so if we can spread this knowledge to get people to be like, oh, maybe, I can do that. That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to. But other than that, like, this has potential for a life experience that not a lot of people will have the opportunity to do. And, besides the 5 tags that we have, Baker was telling me, he's like, this guy's going to hunt a croc with a bow. I just, like, my mind is blown by it. I'm, like, so excited to see how that plays out and capture those moments.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Mark's going to take a bit. Mark Martineau from Rack 'em Up is going to take a monster croc. So that is something, like, I'll go jump in the ocean 100 miles offshore and dive an oil rig. That doesn't bother me, like, no fear whatsoever. But the thought of getting in a murky, sediment, sandy river, baiting up a croc, and these guys wade out there like up to their waist, absolutely not. I will watch. I will be in the high rack on the truck. I will not stand on the ground. I will not stand on the bank, but I will literally watch them. And, like, that's because those crocs are so massive. And, like, I know the last time Mark went, like, he was set on, like, just after seeing those monstrous crocs they have in the rivers over there, that's going to be an experience. And I will absolutely be a spectator on that.
That is crazy. I know it's so different. There's so much to do. I mean, just you guys being able to hunt, baboon and a jackal, I mean, it's just crazy to think about, and kind of neat to see the different tactics of getting to hunt those animals.
One thing I was talking to them about was, like, are there any cull opportunities? Because one thing you never see from Africa is, like, non-typical, like, you don't see the freaks. Everything you see is, like, the symmetrical, typical species. Like, you don't see the kudu or the impala with the funky racks. And I told him, I was like, listen, if there's any opportunities, for a non-typical species over a typical trophy, like, I'm very interested in that. So that's one of the things they're like, we have some over here. We'll show you, we can talk about it when you get here. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do and look for, is just maybe find some type of freak non-typical over there, like a kudu with one horn growing sideways and one growing straight up. I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And I'm really pumped about my last trip I got a black wildebeest, and this trip, blue wildebeest is, in my opinion, one of the best looking skins over there. And I'm really pumped about getting one of those. It's going to be awesome looking. So I'm pumped. I can't wait. And we're also going to do some good on the trip. So I'm going to buy a ton of, like, school supplies for the local villagers and the kids, like just notebooks, pencils, pens, crayons, all that stuff. So I'm going to take a massive bag over there full of that stuff, do some good and all that stuff. I can't wait.
That's awesome to hear. I was just going to ask that kind of stuff, and kind of, how different it is that we hunt here on, state regulated and government regulated. And you guys go to Africa, it's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's locally owned. So it's kind of neat that you guys are going to get to go and see all that, be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, for me, the hunting trip is 100% win, but then using this as an opportunity to kind of witness and participate in a culture that we've never seen before, we're also getting a huge takeaway from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be neat to, like you said, just be a part of that and get to experience that time with Baker when he gives, pencils and erasers, and I think it's just amazing. And, it sounds like a trip everybody that hunts in their lifetime needs to do at least once.
Hopefully, yeah.
The cost of this trip, I feel it's $2,000. So my flight from Seattle to Johannesburg is $1,200. The hunt, which is normally a $5,000 trip, $4,900. We got it for $2,000 each. So even at full price, if you compare an African safari for plains game, like a 7-species plains game hunt, that's $6,900. You can't even shoot it. You can't go get a trophy elk in Colorado for that price, So value, bang for the buck, it is one of the best, if not the best hunting value in the world, in my opinion. I mean, you're experiencing a country that has played such a massive role in world history, and to go and experience that country and see the sights and sounds and all these animals that we grew up, watching on National Geographic and, in cartoons and in magazines and calendars and stuff, and actually be boots on the ground over there and experience it firsthand while doing good, because these animals that we'll take, they will like feed an entire village for an extended period of time. And it's not just the food you're providing, it's also it's job creation and species management and sustainability and conservation and all that stuff. I can't wait. Like, it's so awesome. And then, like I said, like the best part about it for me is letting taking someone that's never been hunting on a trip like this, and then being able to capture the content and tell the story, and share that with people on the Ready Man Network and whatnot when we get back is going to be awesome. So, but also wanted to kind of thank some of the companies that are helping make this possible. So we have Black Rifle Coffee, which is, Evan Hafer. Evan was a Green Beret and with the CIA for 9 years. He's partners with Jeff and Logan and Ready Man. And then 511 Tactical, they're assisting, and then Bearing Made Knives, which is my buddy James Bearing, and then Kimber, then Leupold, Killcliff Tupood, and it's just going to be awesome. And just the content sharing and content creation, and First Light, and Ryan Callahan, and they have a new ultralight merino wool product we're going to be using over there because it'll be in the upper 70s, and just having all these companies working together to share this story. And then put it out, and then with Ready Man especially telling how to do it, so people can literally go online and learn how to go to Africa, how to plan a safari, how to get guns there, how to tune in your bow and all this stuff. I mean, in the process, just showing everyone how easy it's going to be to do this, and hopefully it'll drive more business and awareness to people getting over there and doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's neat, like I said, how Baker, we hunt here. It's state regulated. We go home with our wild turkey or doe, white-tailed doe we shot. We feed ourselves or our girlfriend or our wife and our child. And in Africa, it's so different. Like you said, it's so locally owned. The money's right there, right in front of your face. You guys are seeing the byproduct of that money. You're seeing the conservation of that money, and you're seeing the culture of it. I think it's it's pretty awesome to think how diverse and different, this side is in the States and over there, but both sides work. You know what I mean? It's so different, but they both work in their own way.
Yep, it's going to be awesome.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. So when you get back, if you guys would like, I'd like to do a follow-up so we can kind of hear all about the hunt and the animals itself, and what you guys took away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, can't wait, man. We'll get all that info to you in the links and all that stuff for Ready Man, so you can pump it out there for your listeners. We're going to do interviews with the owner of the operation, and just it's going to be great. And to hear firsthand from someone over there that runs a hunting operation and how it affects the community and the good it does and all that stuff, with all the anti-hunting stuff out there, and just letting people learn from someone on the ground that that's what they do for a living, how it impacts the country and the money it brings in and conservation and all that stuff, and hopefully we can change some people. So it's the operation we're hunting with. It's Sediba Nkwe, Sediba. Second word is NKWE. So check it out. Go on their Facebook, take a look at the pictures and all that stuff. And also one thing I found out last night was 1 hour away there's this lake where they do a bunch of fishing, and he sent me 47 photos last night of bass that they pull out of that lake that weigh over 12 pounds.
That sounds like
Logan,
a good day.
Logan, I haven't even sent you those photos, but I got them late last night. It's the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to. It is insane. It is insane.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm excited for both you guys. And Logan, I want to say on behalf of all the listeners, take aim. We appreciate your service. And we'll start with Baker. Baker, let everybody once again know where we can find you. And then, Logan, why don't you do that? And like I said, I can't wait to have you guys back on after your safe travel.
Say that one more time?
Baker, just tell everybody where we can find you.
Okay,
Facebook,
so
Twitter, like normal.
Yeah, Facebook is just Baker Levitt, and then Instagram is Black Baker, and Twitter is Black Baker, and we'll be chronicling the trip. We have full internet service here, so we'll be doing daily data dumps. You'll see awesome photos coming, and little video clips and stuff throughout the trip. So just check us out on social media.
And
yeah,
Logan?
on my so Ready Man on Facebook is Ready Man Community, and then Ready Man Network on Instagram, Ready Man Network on Twitter, and then my personal Instagram is BlackRifleCoffee_Logan.
Perfect, man. Well, good luck to you guys. Can't wait to hear the stories when you get back, and safe travel. We'll see you guys again very soon.
All right, man. Thanks for having us
on, Brandon.
All right, man. Take care.
Later.
And boys and girls, as you know, live every Tuesday. You can find the show Take Aim Outdoors, iTunes, Stitcher, Outdoor Podcast Channel, and Podbros.